What's going on, everybody? MC Andrew Love back on your screen and your speakers one more time. And welcome to another edition of Let's Chat and Jam. In this episode, I'm speaking with a brother out of San Diego, California. His name, MarlonD. Check out this interview we did right now. What's going on, everybody? MC Andrew Love back on your screen and your speakers one more time with another edition of Let's Chat and Jam. In this episode, I'm speaking to a brother by the name of MarlonD, who hails from Oxnard, California, or San Diego, if you will. Without further ado, MarlonD.
Yo, what up, man?
What is going on? How you been, man?
I'm surviving. I'm just glad to be alive for 2021. And I'm just a workaholic, man. You know, trying to get back into the scene, and the shows are piling up again. There's a lot of shows lined up, and I'm just glad that the venues are opening up again, man, because we got shut down for a good minute, bro, but we're back.
Yeah, the entertainment industry was hit hard this past year or two. When did you realize you had a passion for music?
Well, my mom and dad always loved music, but as far as hip hop, I was born in Philippines, but I moved to Oxnard when I was like 10 after my mom and dad split up. But my cousins were DJs, so I always looked up to the music that my cousins were spinning, and I couldn't really afford turntables, you know, but I was definitely inspired by the music that they played. So since I couldn't be a DJ, I really started out with like just mimicking my favorite rappers in the beginning, like just memorizing like Snoop Dogg or The Brat or The Dog Pound or Criss Cross. I started out like imitating them, you know, but I really started writing rhymes at 10 years old, really started freestyling in front of people at 15. Like high school was like, it was a time to like freestyle out loud. And it just kept growing, man. Like by the time I reached 21, I dropped my first album, and I've been dropping albums and mixtapes ever since 2005, 2006. If I didn't drop an album, I definitely dropped a mixtape. And the album that you've been bumping, 13th and Broadway, is actually album number 11, you know, and not even counting the mixtapes. I got a catalog that I can look back on and I can say that I'm proud of, you know. I do got a body of work out there, so yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. So you've been rocking or spinning music before streaming was even in existence.
Oh, I'm from the era of CDs, selling the CDs out the trunk, selling the CDs out the shows, out the vending tables, you know. So shit, tapes. Started out with demo tapes, you know. So recording on the karaoke mic, you know.
You came from the era where you just had to grind to get your name heard. It wasn't so easy to get a taste of somebody's music. The person had to actually go buy the CD.
Yeah.
So that's when you had some real fans going on back then.
I'm 36. You know, I was a 90s kid, just like a lot of people in the boom bap era. I'm a 90s kid, you know, so I'm deeply influenced by that. But I try to keep my ears on what's popping now. I'm not like I'm a boom bap baby, but I try to keep my ears to what's hot in 2021, you know?
Yeah. Who are your greatest influences?
Man, like coming from the West Coast, of course, dog, like everything the Death Row Records did, you know? Everything, Tupac, Dre, of course. But if we're talking East Coast, you know, it's the usual suspects, you know what I mean? Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Wu-Tang, De La Soul, Tribe, Method Man. I can go on, you know? And I'm just a student of the game. I'm a fan of a lot of MCs, and I'm influenced by everybody, man. Everybody.
I can hear it in your rhymes, man. It's one thing I can say.
Thank you.
You got skills, bro. You do have a gift of MCing.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, dog. For reals.
When it
means a lot coming from a New York cat.
Oh, yeah.
It comes a lot coming from an NY cat. You know what I'm saying?
I've been a fan of hip hop since I was listening to like Run DMC, Fat Boys, Melly Mel and the Furious Five, Grandmaster Flash. You know, I just name them all myself. Yeah. Beastie Boys, some of my favorite. Those guys were like the pioneers of hip hop. LL Cool J, when he came out, he just changed the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the artists I gravitate towards when I was a kid, and I loved hip hop, and I always wanted to interview rappers. So growing up, you know, I like to be a broadcaster. While you were wanting to be a rapper and you started writing rhymes. Rhymes weren't my thing, but man, I could DJ the heck out of a track. That's where my love of music went, is to the broadcast where I could just play it and watch the people have a good time. That's what I love to do with music. I love watching people party, dance, just grind when you hear things like Around the Way Girl by LL Cool J. Things of that nature. Those are stuff I like doing back in the day.
Shouts out Al, man.
Yeah. When you're not in the studio and you're not creating music, what do you do?
So I got a full-time job, just like a lot of struggling independent artists out here in Cali. I've been doing behavior therapy for kids with autism for about 10, 11 years now. And when the pandemic started, I left the school district and just started doing behavior therapy and home care or tutoring kids with autism or learning disabilities. I just started helping them at the house to get them through social distance learning, because we did a lot of that last year. So I definitely helped out with the kids with that. And I also have a podcast. I have a podcast called MD Podcast. It's really hip hop commentary where I do interview artists, but I also interview my fellow mental health practitioners or advocates who are working for the mental health community, especially those who are working with kids with autism. I think I dropped an album called Shadows 3 in 2018. At around 2019, I took a break. I took a good break from shows and I pursued some acting. I definitely took acting classes again, and I did theater for like a year and a half from like 2019 to about the beginning of 2020, right before the pandemic started. And like, I started doing independent films, and just theater. I just really got my feet wet in acting. And when you give your life to something since you were 15, when you give your whole life to it since you were 15, you wake up, you're 33, you realize you gave your whole life to hip hop. But what else did you give your life to? Like, I didn't want to be a one-rounded person where that's all I did. So I wanted to like extend my creativity somewhere else. I stopped doing shows for like a year and a half, but I never really stopped going to the studio. So like I dropped 5 mixtapes during the pandemic. I did like 100 songs. If it didn't make the album, I definitely spread it out in 3, 4, 5 different mixtapes. I dropped an album called Act 2. That was my 10th album in August 2020. And I dropped another album called 13th and Broadway, the one that you're bumping. I dropped that in the beginning of May. So I'm a real workaholic, but I just think that's my way of coping with life. It's probably a defense mechanism of like, you know how it is. If you guys want to talk about mental health, I feel like a lot of us men, we don't know how to cope with emotions sometimes, but to either drink, smoke, or just be a workaholic. And I'm definitely targeting the mental health area more in my music, in my interviews, and especially in my podcast. I'm advocating for that a little more this past year in my career. So it's a different MarlonD than what first started out.
Let's talk about the song Homecoming. Can you tell us about that?
Produced by Joey Dixon. My albums, the whole album was produced by Joey Dixon, and he co-produced one joint, like all 12 tracks. So Joey produced that, and the name of the song is Homecoming. When you listen to the song, I address what's going on in the United States of America, but I also address what's going on. I feel like my music speaks to the black sheeps. I feel like I represent the black sheep. I represent the outsider, and I've been owning that and embracing that more. Like, being a Filipino in this game, it's not easy, fam. It's not easy, I understand I'm one of the minorities trying to get in the music industry. And Homecoming is about owning being a black sheep. It's about rebuilding United States of America, because we got a lot of rebuilding to do. We got a lot of unlearning to do in this country, from racism to police brutality to the way they treat us minorities and just the way that they're attacking Asian American women right now. There's a lot of hate in America, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like it's going to take a lot of chaos first to get our rage out. then we can start healing. You know what I'm saying? And America is just like in growing pains. The country's in growing pains, and so am I as a man, as a 36-year-old man. Like we're supposed to grow, man. We're not supposed to stay the same. We're supposed to grow. We're not supposed to regress. Although some people do regress, you know, I don't want to regress. I want to grow. You know what I'm saying?
I can dig the vibes, man. Really can.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
and America regressed. America has regressed a lot. Or maybe America's been like this all along, but people are really showing their true colors about how they feel about racism and how they feel about us minorities. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is America all along. So
you got to think about how America was built. It was built on stealing it from the minorities. And then you force the minorities over. F that. We're not even minorities, man. We're the majority. These Caucasians are the minorities, man. What are you talking about? Because in this country, the biggest population is Latinos. And after Latinos, you got, Asian Americans who's coming over here and finding a better life. Some Caucasians, I don't want to make this a political show, but what I will say this, because I always tell truths in my podcast. And my truth is this country was built on the back of people of brown skin. That's it. This country was built by people with brown skin. And the way I look at it, the way they treat us the same. If you're brown skin, you're a minority. If you're white, you're the majority. But it's wrong. It's backwards. Caucasians, you're the majority in Europe. That's where you're the majority. Right here in America, the brown skin evolution, baby. This is who's got it right now. Light skin, dark skin, it don't matter. If you off-white, then you brown skin. It's that simple.
And by the way, man, I love all people. I love all races. But in my podcast, I definitely highlight my fellow Filipinos, Hispanics, and my brown brothers because I just feel like we're definitely underrepresented and misrepresented. So I definitely make space for the minorities. If business owners, just anybody that's just contributing to society that's brown, I make space for that in my podcast, man. Because like you said, like we all contributed in this country, and Filipinos in particular, we've served the country from being army men, navy men, Marines, nurses, working in the farms. Like we definitely paid our dues in this country, man. And so did the Hispanics. So when my fellow Hispanics get ostracized or they get singled out, I take offense. I feel like Filipinos, we're not too far off from that. And sure enough, what did they start doing? They started attacking older Asian women. And I like, sure enough, like we're next, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened. So on the acting tip, I just want to give a shout out to University of San Diego, UCSD. They're casting me for a play to play a rapper. And the play is we're going to make a play about the violence against Asian American women. And they definitely casted me to make some songs about this. So I'll be performing some songs during the play. So I'm definitely trying to give back more to my community, trying to use my talent more to speak on what's going on in society. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool, man. I'm digging the vibes.
Trying to get involved more with my peoples, you know?
Yeah. And without further ado, folks, you know what? You can actually go and check out 13th and Broadway yourself over there on all major streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Check out some of his videos, YouTube Music. The list goes on, because if it's streaming, MarlonD is in the middle of it. So without further ado, folks, I'm going to play a little snippet of Homecoming from MarlonD and Joey Dixon Productions.
What's the issue? If you can feel it in your soul, then your time is coming. If your music lives on, then you say something. Mama told me just be patient, cause my time is coming. If only time stood still,
but we always running. But today I gotta push for change, and I'm back in the lab, got a book for days. Just let me
MarlonD, y'all. Tap in, y'all. Tap in.
Still ain't
the homecoming anthem for my chosen ones. To all the black.
All right, y'all. That's it. You want to go hear the rest of it? You gotta go to Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Deezer, Pandora, and iHeartRadio. Those are the places that are rocking MarlonD. And of course, all other streaming platforms that you decide you want to go to. Tap in, because MarlonD is there. Man, that's dope, dude. Woo-wee! You are one heck of a rapper, man. You are an ill rapper, dude. You know exactly what you're doing. Your delivery is polished. When I hear music like that, I get excited to be a hip-hop fan. Man, I'm digging the vibes.
I appreciate you, bro.
I wish I could hear the rest of your albums. You need to send them my way, man. Just send them my way.
Yeah, man. To all those tuning in, mcmarlond.bandcamp.com. That is the site and my link for all my mixtapes and albums from 2005 to 2021. Everything I've ever done is on there. But for all those who are Spotify users, Apple Music, Tidal, the whole catalog's on there. Just type in MarlonD and Joey Dixon, 13th and Broadway, and the newest album will come up. And my album Act 2 that I dropped in August 2020, it's also there. So yeah, man, I'm just trying to get the music out there, especially to my New York heads. I feel like if New York fucks with it, I got something. You know what I'm saying? Word up. For real, though.
You definitely got
if New York heads think, thank you, man.
Yeah, if I like it, if I like it, there's other cats that's going to like it too. They just got to hear it.
Thank you, bro.
Once they hear it, they're like.
And for all those that's been like following me since day one, I know that they're used to a sound from Marlon, like that boom bap, that underground boom bap stuff. I've been doing that my whole career. I know how to do that like the back of my hand. And I feel like for this album, I finally found the formula to keep it boom bap, but sprinkle some songs for the radio, sprinkle some songs for the ladies. I just feel like I'm getting more well-rounded as the years go, you know? At some point as an artist, we got to try different things. We got to try different things that challenges us. After a while, the boom bap stuff was not challenging because there's different markets out there, man. Like, and I'm trying to tap into all of them, but don't get it fucked up, yo. I'm still a real, like when you said Sitting at Home, it's a tight song. For all those tuning in, if you guys tune into Sitting at Home, it's on some E40 Bay Area Too Short shit. But when you listen to it, it's still lyrical, like, and I'm not saying that Too Short and E40 is not lyrical, but that West Coast bounce, but it's still lyrical, you know? That's what I'm trying to do right now.
I'm digging the vibe.
Trying to cater to everybody. Thank you, man.
Tell us some of the experiences you've had since you've been in the music.
I was thinking about that the other day, right? For all my kids, all the kids out there tuning in, if you got a dream, it doesn't have to be rapping. It doesn't have to be music. I promise you, if you have a dream that makes you happy, you have to keep doing it. You must keep doing it. You're going to have a lot of people like friends and family saying, you're not getting paid enough. You're not getting paid a lot. Why are you doing this? You're going to get a lot of that throughout your whole life. You can't listen. You just have to keep doing what makes you happy. You're going to lose ex-girlfriends. You're going to lose girlfriends. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose family members. But I promise you, if you find your path, you got to keep doing this. And what I've experienced in this game is that I started out as a fan, but at some point in my career, I started opening up for Dilated Peoples or Dog Pound or Sean Price or Guru from Gangstar, Keith Murray. I started opening for everybody, like from 2005 to about 2018. If you're a hip hop legend and you came to Southern California, 90% I opened for you. I was an opening act like 90% of the time. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, dog. Like when I was an opening act, I was still a fan. I'm still tripping out. Like, what the fuck? Sean Price? You know, like Guru from Gangstar? Are you kidding me? Rest in peace, by the way, you know? Cannabis. I opened for Cannabis, yo. I opened for Scarface. I've opened for Talib Kweli. I've had the chance to fulfill some of my hip hop dreams as a kid, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. This is tough. You got to have thick skin for this. You know, there's a lot of rejection in this game. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shadiness in this game. It's very cutthroat. It's a cutthroat business, you know? So I've experienced the good and I've experienced the bad. But guess what? I definitely rap about it. I've experienced the good and the bad, you know?
Definitely, man.
But that's what happens. If you give your life into something 15 years or more, you're going to go through ups and downs, yo. You may even go through a year and a half where you stop. You may even go through a year and a half without dropping nothing, you know? But you're going to go through ups and downs, like a real relationship. Like a real relationship with hip hop.
Do you have any burning desires?
I want to know how it is to have a family. I think as a 36-year-old man, sometimes I yearn for that. Sometimes I feel like I do yearn for that, and I'm longing for that. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I'm cut out for marriage. I'm not sure if I'm cut out for a relationship, because I got a lot of healing to do, you know. But sometimes I feel like before this life ends, I would like to know how it is to be a dad. I feel like my career, my personal career, it's thriving. It could be better. It's not perfect, but my personal life can do some work, you know? I can do some improvement in my personal life. I can do some improvement in my personal relationships, you know?
Yeah, I definitely commend you for owning it up to your part. I'll tell you, being a father is hard work.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah, it is. It's a never-ending job.
That's what I heard.
It's like you're always biting your nails, because if you have daughters, you're like, oh my God, I don't want nobody to treat my daughter the way I treated other females growing up. That's what you're thinking. Because you're like, you tell your daughters about guys like yourself, like, hey, this is what's going down with guys. And I'll tell you, because I was one of those guys, because I am one of those guys. Leave those guys alone.
And
please.
I heard marriage is even harder.
Marriage.
But like, I'm not, you know.
Give and take, man.
I heard that's even harder.
Marriage is like when you
when
you got a female and you're married to a woman, you got to be honest. You know, you got to let her know what's going on with you, what you've been up to. You know, let her know, tell her the truth. So that way she has an opportunity to make the right decision accordingly. Because if we don't know the truth about our mate, how are we going to make the right decisions? Because we're making decisions on assumptions, not of actualities. And so when we're married and we're husbands, we have to be the head of the household. But yes, we have to know our mate has just as much right to know about what's going on as I do. We have to realize that. Dude, what is your process, man? So when you get a beat, do you have a song already ready to go for a beat? Or do you wait to get to the studio, then lay down your vocals? What's your process?
I would say like the first 4 albums, first 3 or 4 albums, I would have the rhymes written down at the crib before I went to the studio, you know? But after a while, I definitely knew how to write on the spot. But I wouldn't be able to write on the spot if I don't write rhymes every day. I pretty much write rhymes every day, even if there's no beat. So when I'm in the studio, sometimes it's just kind of like work, not work, but it's just kind of like practice. Like if you keep writing, for all the MCs tuning in, if you write every day, I promise you, your work ethic in the studio will be much quicker and much faster. You'll learn how to write shit on the spot. But as far as beats, I got a lot of producers constantly sending me beats every day, or maybe once a month, once a week. I got people sending me beats all the time. I definitely listen to all of them and see which one is resonating with me, you know? Like, I always feel like in order for you to write about something, you got to live life a little bit. Like some good things got to happen. Some bad things got to happen, or else there's nothing to rap about, you know? And my next album, by the way, will be called Dido. Dido is my last name. And this will be album number 12. So for example, for this album, I barely dropped an album this May, you know, this past couple weeks ago, but there's been some things happening in my life again. You feel me though, fam? I think the universe is showing me things, and there's bad things happening in my life again, and there's good things happening in my life. And I feel like this is the energy I need to carry for the next album, because I'm experiencing a lot of people dying again right now. I'm experiencing how to forgive. I'm experiencing how to ask for forgiveness. I'm experiencing when someone forgives me, and I'm also experiencing when someone doesn't. And these are the themes that I'm taking with me. And I'm human, dog. No matter how strong I am, I'm a Leo, by the way. Sometimes Leos, we're too much. Like our energy is like, sometimes Leos always got to be in the forefront. And sometimes Leos always feel like we got to lead. but I'm learning how to tone down that side of me too. I just got to balance my energy a little bit, you know? Sometimes I don't feel like being in the forefront. Sometimes I don't feel like being in the spotlight. But if you're going to do this music business, guess what? You're going to be under the spotlight sometimes, you know?
Definitely. Sometimes you're held to a higher standard than a regular Joe Schmo that works at Dunkin' Donuts.
I've been in therapy. I think therapy's helping. I think therapy is bringing out a lot of things that I didn't know was there. I think it's bringing out a lot of things a lot of unhealed wounds that I didn't think was still unhealed, but that's what therapy is doing to me. And to be honest with you, that's exactly what I'm writing about lately. That's exactly what I'm rapping about, you know, therapy and how I feel about it. And
yeah, music is all about therapy and progression. And I hear a lot of artists, you know, they say that music is their cleansing. It's their time to heal, to get out their stuff. And you put it on
you
the
have
records.
to. You got to write. You got to express that. Like we got two choices, fam. We got two choices. We can let our pain be destructive, or we can be productive with that pain. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. I've had my days where I've been destructive. I know how that is too, you know? But as I get older, I'm realizing, you know what? I'd rather be productive and exert this energy into the recording studio or doing shows or working with the kids. You know, when you're single with no family, you have a lot of time to work in your career. And that's all I'm doing, dog. That's all I'm doing. Just putting in some more work to secure the legacy, you know?
Yeah. America and the world. It is I, MC Andrew Love. This is Let's Chat and Jam. This is my special guest, MarlonD. This brother here is really personable when it comes to his music. But as you hear, he's a deep thinker, and he's always wanting to give back to the people. And this is why he makes music that is liberating to people. You can check out his music on all platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio. The list goes on and on. This brother, anywhere there's streaming going on, he's in the middle of it. So can you tell the people where they can find you?
Yo, check it out. For all my Instagram users at AmDLens, that's at AmDLENS. For my Facebook users, you can add me, MarlonD. Twitter at MCMarlonD. Once again, my music links, mcmarlond.bandcamp.com. And for all those who are into podcasts, check me out, MD Podcast, all on digital platforms. And I got a movie out on Amazon Prime called The Year I Did Nothing. I got a minor role, but it's out there, you know, and there's a lot of shows coming up. And if you guys add my Instagram, you'll be updated with all the flyers.
That's dope, man. And since you've been here for the first time, you have now become part of a Let's Chat and Jam fan. Which
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait for me to hit you up. You can tap into my DMs and say, hey, MC, I got some stuff I want to promote. I got a movie I want to promote. Got new music I want to promote. Whatever it is you want to talk about, it's important to me. And you can come back here anytime and talk about your things because you're part of a Let's Chat and Jam fan. Thank you for tapping. I do appreciate your time. It's been wonderful. You're a really dope artist, man. And I'll tell you something. You keep rapping the way you're rapping, you're about to get a wife in no time. But thank you so much for coming through. Stay safe out there in San Diego. Whatever you do. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Peace
You're
out.
welcome. Yes, and everybody else, y'all stay safe, man. If you got a dream, go for it. Because only you could stop it. And nothing beats a failure but a try. Peace out, folks. Thanks for watching. And if you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel. Also, like and share the content, as well as hit the notification icon so you don't miss a conversation with series right here on Let's Chat and Jam.